Crossing the apocalypse, the demon path becomes holy. Zhengqing managed to survive a major archaeological accident, but due to his severe injuries, he suffered life-threatening sequelae. However, he also gained a great opportunity to inherit the magic path and be able to shuttle back and forth between the real world and the apocalyptic world. Money, career, love, social status, and so on, all seem effortlessly obtainable in the face of true transcendence. Keywords of the novel. Go in the apocalypse of the demon road. No pop-ups, go in the apocalypse of the demon road. Complete collection download TXT, go in the apocalypse of the demon road. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. The Inheritance of the Demon Way. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The Inheritance of the Magic Way. Shujia Village. Zhengqing sat at the doorstep, dressed in a simple white shirt and black shorts. His face was a bit pale and weak. Zhengqing, just a few days after coming out of the hospital, why aren't you lying in bed? Grandpa Su walked over. Grandpa. Zhengqing replied, I want to come out and bask in the sun. Okay. Grandpa's tone was gentle, and after smiling, he carried a hoe to the vegetable garden to weed. After seeing his grandfather leave, Zhengqing's mind moved. In front of him were wisps of white mist spreading, which then gathered to form a font similar to a game panel. Name. Zhengqing. Age. 27 years old. Realm. None. Practice. None. Spell. None. Divine power. None. Treasure. None. Spirit value. 1,267 points. Shuttle through the world. The apocalyptic world. Inheritance. A complete inheritance of the magic path. This thing. Zhengqing remained slightly silent and said, can I be considered lucky or not? I actually got such a system like Golden Finger that only appears in novels. Just 3 months ago. The Kyoto archaeological team led by Zhengqing entered a large tomb suspected to be the true tomb of Emperor Qin Shi Huang, but during the archaeological process, a landslide occurred, burying the entire team. In the end, only Zhengqing survived the accident, while the others died. Although Zhengqing's life was saved, he left behind sequelae and stayed in the hospital for nearly 3 months. His brain tissue has suffered severe permanent damage, which cannot be recovered and is continuously deteriorating, and must be maintained and controlled by medication. The doctor inferred that even with medication maintenance and control, Zhengqing's brain tissue would completely shrink in 3 years, with the ultimate result being brain death. Finally, Zhengqing received a consolation fund of 200,000 yuan from the superiors and reimbursed all hospitalization expenses. Due to health reasons, he was forced to leave the Kyoto Institute of Cultural Relics. I don't want to live for only 3 years. Modern medicine has no way to deal with my sequelae, but it doesn't mean that extraordinary means are impossible. Zhengqing took a deep breath. In the blink of an eye. At night. Zhengqing lost sleep and couldn't fall asleep. He was curious and nervous about the adventures in his mind, and didn't know what his future would be like. And if the adventures in my mind cannot cure my brain atrophy, it is hard to imagine how despairing it would be. The second-floor balcony. Zhengqing came out and wanted to be quiet. Zhengqing is our only child, and it is also a single lineage of our Su family. I don't believe what Dr. Kyoto said. As long as there is a glimmer of hope, even if it's selling iron, Su Dajiang will save my son. At this point, Zhengqing heard his father Su Dajiang's voice coming from the room downstairs. Dajiang. Grandpa's slightly trembling voice rang out, this is the property certificate of our hometown. Take it with you. If you really don't have enough money by then, let's sell the house in our hometown. This. Dad. Su Dajiang and his mother Miao Huilan spoke with a crying tone. I can't watch my grandson die in front of me. Grandpa said. Upon hearing this, Su Zhengqing's heart trembled. His eyes were already rosy, tears were streaming down the corners of his eyes, and his heart was filled with emotion and self-blame. Think carefully. I have lived for more than 20 years, and my parents have raised me since childhood, but they have not been able to let them enjoy a day of happiness. Instead, they worry about me every day. Now this kind of thing has happened even more. I can't die. Su Zhengqing clenched his fist tightly and said, I can't die, whether it's for myself, my parents, or my family. I can't just die like this. I must live on and be more exciting than anyone else. Firmened my mind. Su Zhengqing walked into his room without hesitation and sat cross-legged on the bed, using his own thoughts to communicate the opportunities and adventures in the dark. In the past 3 months, Su Zhengqing did not truly communicate about this adventure and opportunity because he was hospitalized and covered in various medical equipment. He dared not rashly communicate about this adventure and opportunity in the hospital. Buzz. 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 Immediately. The basic information and situation about this adventure and opportunity, as well as the complete inheritance of magic it contains, have gradually flooded into Su Zhengqing's mind, transforming into his memory in knowledge. Firstly, the true origin of this adventure and opportunity is currently unknown, and there is no corresponding record in the information and inheritance obtained by Su Zhengqing. He only clarified the ability of this adventure and opportunity. Su Zhengqing can consume spiritual points to travel to another apocalyptic world. As long as he stays in the apocalyptic world for 1 day, he needs to consume 10 spiritual points. Also, spiritual value comes from the attention, reverence, fear, admiration, faith, and other aspects of other beings. As long as other beings experience certain emotional fluctuations due to Su Zhengqing, they can obtain the corresponding spiritual value. The specific situation needs to be explored by Su Zhengqing himself. Complete inheritance of the magic path. It records a complete set of magical techniques, as well as complete magical spells, corresponding magical powers of different realms, and the refining of magical treasures. Buzz. 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 Su Zhengqing's mind is stable. The Immortal and Demon Manual. Su Zhengqing was immersed in it, and the complete magic technique recorded in the inheritance of magic is called the Immortal Demon Manual, which is an unparalleled magic scripture that directly points to the cultivation of magic into immortality. However, Su Zhengqing is currently just an ordinary person, so he has only unlocked the cultivation method of the Immortal and Demon Manual first level. Demon Refining Realm. Refining Demon Realm. To refine the demon body and forge the demon veins until they are complete, the lowest can be refined into 12 demon veins, and the highest can form a total of 365 demon veins. The Immortal and Demon Manual is the supreme magic scripture, so it can cast up to 365 magic veins. In addition to the cultivation techniques of this Immortal and Demon Manual, Su Zhengqing also obtained corresponding magical spells and magical treasures that can be forged through refining the demon realm. Unfortunately, whether it's magic spells or magic treasures, Su Zhengqing needs to truly step into the demon refining realm before he can practice and refine them. When accepting inheritance, Su Zhengqing attempted to cultivate according to the methods recorded in the Immortal and Demon Manual, but found that he could not succeed at all, and the reason for his inability to succeed was very simple. Firstly, in the real world, there is indeed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, but according to normal circumstances, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth that can be cultivated is like a mist, which can be incorporated into the body and used to leverage one's own spiritual mechanism, in order to open the door to cultivation. However, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the real world is like bricks, incredibly hard, like a pile of hard bricks, unable to move a single bit, so it is also impossible to absorb spiritual energy into the body, pry one's own spiritual machine, and cannot open the door to cultivation. In other words, there is no transcendence in the real world. How could this be? Zhengqing's face turned pale. He had originally thought that he had obtained a complete inheritance of the demonic way, could step into the door of cultivation, and cure his sequelae, but he did not expect reality to give him another painful blow. After quite a while, Zhengqing slowly regained his senses. Finally, Zhengqing could only focus on the end of the world. The apocalyptic world. It can be imagined that it will inevitably be a chaotic world, with human lives like grass and filled with various dangers. Entering such a world is indeed too risky. But there's no other way. Zhengqing must go. But not now. He must be prepared accordingly, do nothing, bring nothing, and venture into an apocalyptic world, which is seeking death. Time flies by. In the blink of an eye. 7 days passed. During these 7 days, Zhengqing was ready to enter the apocalyptic world by purchasing a large number of survival items, equipment, and food online. Weapons include composite bow, mountain opener, multifunctional wrench, etc. Armor includes lined leather armor, bulletproof vests, gas masks, etc. Items include multifunctional lighters, telescopes, regular medicines, and medical bandages. Food includes chocolate, online military rations, edible water, etc. Of course, these were all purchased without informing his parents, and they are also things that Zhengqing can currently purchase through various channels. They are quite well prepared. Besides that, Zhengqing also visited the slaughterhouses, markets, and surrounding villages in the county several times, searching for the blood of the livestock that was filled with resentment when they died. As the saying goes, all things have spirituality. The pregnant you've prayed to the slaughterhouse butcher not to kill her and knelt down, while the old yellow ox, who had worked hard for her master, fell into the slaughterhouse, etc. So, Zhengqing wants to search for some highly spiritual livestock that died tragically and collect their blood. Although in the context of modern society, there are few tragic livestock that die, Zhengqing spent several days squatting and still managed to find what he wanted. Zhengqing cooperated with the collection of spiritual livestock blood that was filled with resentment at the time of death, and then purchased medicinal herbs such as ginseng, saffron, ligustrum lucidum, huangjing, longya lily, etc. that were suitable for the spiritual needs of tragically deceased livestock. Using the magical refining technique, heavy metal substances such as mercury, lead, and cadmium were added. Finally, refined it into the most inferior blood demon pill. You should know, Zhengqing had no beginner in the art of magic. Apart from mastering the refining techniques of magic, he could only refine the blood demon pill in the way of ordinary people. Furthermore, it should be noted that the best material for refining the blood demon pill is human blood. The worse the death, the better, the fresher the better. The blood of spiritual livestock naturally deteriorates significantly. 7 days. Zhengqing refined 14 of the lowest quality blood demon pills. Everything is ready. This day, Zhengqing told his parents that he was going to the county town and was expected to stay for several days, ranging from 3 to 4 days to about half a month, before he would come back. After finishing the task, come back early. Miao Huilan shouted. Got it, Mom. Zhengqing turned around and waved his hand. After leaving Shujia village, Zhengqing looked left and right, making sure no one around saw him. He took a deep breath and quickly crawled into the deep woods next to him. Shuttle. Buzz. Without hesitation, Zhengqing's mind moved and he activated the shuttle function. The dazzling white light scattered before his eyes. When he regained consciousness, he was already surrounded by a floor, and the air was filled with a pungent smell. The smell of blood mixed with the stench of decay, as well as a smell of rust and nitrate smoke. In a blink of an eye, it seems like a different world has changed. In fact, that's exactly how it is. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Doomsday World, Introduction to the Witchcraft. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Doomsday World, Introduction to the Witchcraft Roar. Zhengqing heard a strange roar, and he was startled and quickly woke up. He confirmed that he was in the hallway of a building, with black blood stains on the ground and guardrails. Looking towards the direction of the roaring sound. Zhengqing swallowed his saliva and his face became increasingly pale, as he saw real zombies wandering downstairs, with decaying faces, staggering steps, covered in blood, unconsciously wandering. Suddenly, Zhengqing heard the chaotic and hurried footsteps. He quickly looked towards the direction of the footsteps, and what caught his eye was a female college student wearing a school uniform. However, her school uniform was slightly messy, with several damages, dry and long hair scattered, and her face covered in dirt. She ran out of the corner with a frightened expression and saw Zhengqing, as if seeing hope for life. She shouted at Zhengqing, "Ah! Help! Help me! Help me! Ah!" The next moment. Before Zhengqing could even react, behind the female college student, a terrifying zombie with a terrifying face quickly rushed towards her, knocking her down to the ground. She opened her mouth and tore open her blood, causing blood to surge wildly. The long legs of this female college student were kicking everywhere, and her legs were also covered in dirt. At this moment, her figure fell to the ground like a puppet, abruptly stopping. Zhengqing's pupils contracted, and he rushed directly into the adjacent bedroom room, quickly closing the door. Before entering this room, while outside, Zhengqing had already observed that there were no zombies or any living creatures in the room, so he dared to hide in this room. Who? Zhengqing was panting heavily, his heart beating violently, and his face was flushed from congestion. If it weren't for Zhengqing's strong psychological resilience and early anticipation, he would have been scared and collapsed to the ground. After calming down, what I need to do now is to find a relatively safe place and try whether the Immortal Demon Manual can be practiced in this apocalyptic world. Zhengqing thought to himself, everything else needs to be postponed. He waited for a while, but did not find himself after nibbling on the terrifying zombie of the female college student. This relieved Zhengqing and his emotions slowly calmed down. Look around. Zhengqing can already confirm that this is the girls' dormitory. The room is extremely messy, with dried blood stains on the bed and floor, but there is no one in this dormitory. Either they all died or they ran away. Anyway, this has temporarily become Zhengqing's resting place. Zhengqing took a deep breath and sat cross-legged in a relatively clean place. After confirming that there would be no zombies rushing in a short period of time, he slowly calmed down. The first volume of the Immortal and Demon Manual. Buzz. Zhengqing's mind was calm, with the scriptures from the Immortal and Demon scriptures circulating in his mind, causing him to slowly enter a state similar to meditation. He was elaborating on the general outline of the first chapter of the scriptures: the great way is only me, regardless of Taoism or Buddhism, with one heart as the foundation, free from me. The sky is vast, and the earth is also vast. With the remaining vastness, nature can be achieved. Boom. The next moment. Zhengqing has truly entered a state of cultivation, and he clearly perceives the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in this apocalyptic world, which is slowly melting. The meaning is that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in this apocalyptic world is also similar to the real world, like extremely hard bricks that cannot be absorbed at all. And now, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in this apocalyptic world is melting at an extremely slow speed, from an extremely hard brick state to a faint mist state. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the foggy state can be absorbed. That is to say, Zhengqing can cultivate in this apocalyptic world. As one door closes, another door opens. No way. Zhengqing opened his eyes and woke up, sighing. After half a day, he made no progress and said, "I'm obviously not a genius in cultivation. Although the magic technique is quickly completed, my cultivation environment is too poor. If it continues at this speed, I may not be able to enter the beginner level for a year." Zhengqing only has 1267 spiritual points, and staying in the apocalypse world for one day requires 10 spiritual points, so Zhengqing can only stay in the apocalypse world for a maximum of 126 days. "I can only try this thing, I hope I can refine it to be useful." Zhengqing put down his backpack and found 14 of the lowest quality blood demon pills bottled inside. "I was refining this blood demon pill because I wanted to use it at this time, so it took a lot of energy and time," he said. "It must be useful." "Calm your mind." Zhengqing ate the lowest quality blood demon pill, sat cross-legged, and quickly operated the first level of the Immortal Demon Manual's techniques and tricks. Boom! The lowest quality blood demon pill dissolved in the body, indeed containing a domineering medicinal power that acted on Zhengqing's physical body and also stimulated his nerves, causing Zhengqing's spirit to be in an extremely excited state. Buzz! 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 The next moment, Zhengqing clearly felt that his cultivation speed had accelerated, and he had resonated with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Taking the lowest quality blood demon pill could greatly shorten the cultivation time. However, the lowest quality blood demon pill also has terrifying side effects. Its domineering medicinal power, as well as the heavy metals and other substances it contains, are eroding Zhengqing's body. To put it bluntly, it will reduce lifespan. It's okay. The root cause of Zhengqing's illness is his brain tissue, and the lowest quality blood demon pill erodes his internal organs. Zhengqing's brain tissue has only been around for 3 years. In this situation, the 5 organs and 6 viscera are eroded by the worst blood demon pill. Anyway, there are only 3 years left to live. We can only fight with fate. Time passes by. Zhengqing has been practicing in this girl's dormitory, and no matter what happens outside, he will not pay attention. In addition, he has brought enough food and water, and the blood demon pill itself contains corresponding energy substances. So, Zhengqing did not leave this dormitory for half a step. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days finally. On the 10th day. At noon. Boom! Zhengqing's whole body trembled, and a bloody mist filled his whole body. The blood vessels on his surface burst up like veins, as if he was about to explode and die in the next moment. Observe carefully. Zhengqing's hair was withered and yellow, and there was a noticeable odor emanating from his body. This was because he had not washed up for 10 days and had not left the girl's dormitory for 10 days, either practicing or practicing every day. Finally, after taking 10 of the lowest quality blood demon pills, coupled with the fact that the Immortal Demon Manual is already the supreme magic scripture, as well as Zhengqing's own perseverance, he successfully entered the door of cultivation, using the lowest quality blood demon pill to condense his entire body's chi and blood, truly triggering a strand of spiritual energy from heaven and earth to enter his body, and truly stimulating his own spiritual mechanism. Immortal and demon-casting body. Zhengqing let out a loud shout in his heart, opened his eyes, which were crimson, and said, "Magic veins. Condense." Boom! A roar emanated from within the body. Buzz! 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 In an instant, Zhengqing's body quickly returned to the nest with the rolling chi and blood on its surface, blending a trace of heaven and earth spiritual energy. His own qi and blood combined with heaven and earth spiritual energy, slowly condensing the first demon vein in his body. Boom! At the moment when the first demon pulse formed in Su Zhengqing's body, his whole body was revitalized with special vitality. The previously difficult to activate spiritual energy of heaven and earth quickly integrated into Su Zhengqing's body like being devoured by a black hole, nourishing his physical body and strengthening his internal organs. In this way, Su Zhengqing's damage caused by taking the lowest quality blood demon pill has been fully restored at this moment, nourished by the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Her withered yellow hair was also jet black. The most important thing is, under the nourishment of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, Su Zhengqing clearly felt that the brain tissue inside his head had also been affected, and the permanent damage had the possibility of recovery. Shining with new vitality. Because of this slight recovery, Su Zhengqing can at least live several more years. Successful. Su Zhengqing has truly succeeded. He found hope for survival. 1 hour later, Su Zhengqing has stabilized his cultivation, and his body has condensed the first magic pulse. The magic pulse contains not magical power, but magical blood. The first realm is the demon refining realm. The main task is to refine the demon veins and cultivate the demon body. Only by completing the refining realm and stepping into the second realm can true magical power be condensed within the body. At that time, then there will be a truly transformative change. If we can break through to the second realm. Su Zhengqing pondered and said, my sequelae, which are permanent damage to brain tissue, are highly likely to be fully recovered. 10 days apart. Su Zhengqing finished all the food in his backpack, but in fact, he had already finished it 2 days ago. He relied on perseverance and the lowest quality blood demon pill to sustain himself until now. Now that he has found hope for survival, he has the heart and time to truly engage and explore this apocalyptic world. It's been 10 days already. Su Zhengqing packed his things and before leaving, he found a diary on the nearby desk. He picked it up and started flipping through it. Half an hour later, he has read through all of this diary. In this apocalyptic world, Chinese is also used. Otherwise, Su Zhengqing wouldn't be able to understand this diary. Although it's strange to use Chinese in this apocalyptic world, things like time travel and cultivation have all happened to him. Su Zhengqing seems to take such small things for granted. I see. Su Zhengqing suddenly realized that through this diary, he had learned a lot. He looked out the window at the sky and whispered softly, this is a world that has just erupted from the apocalyptic disaster for less than a month. Pushed open the door of the dormitory. Su Zhengqing walked out. Roar. Su Zhengqing heard the roar of the zombies. He looked up and saw zombies wandering downstairs. He noticed a panicked woman wearing black framed glasses being chased by a zombie 100 meters away. This woman's body is relatively clean, without too much dirt, and she can keep her clothes relatively clean in the context of the apocalypse. Su Zhengqing speculates that she should be in a relatively safe shelter. Think of it here. Su Zhengqing quickly took out the mechanical composite bow from his backpack, and had already installed the sight and drop arrow table. He quickly set up the true feather carbon arrow using a wrist-style spreader. Su Zhengqing drew his bow and shot arrows, aiming at the head of a zombie 100 meters away. The demonic energy was bestowed upon the true feather carbon arrow, causing it to emit a faint glow of blood. Shoo! The arrow pierced through the air and accurately shot the head of a zombie from 100 meters away. Originally, it could only be shot through, but the demonic blood contained in the arrow caused it to have an explosive effect. Ah! The woman with black framed glasses, who was 100 meters away, exclaimed in surprise. Looking towards the direction where the arrow was shooting, she saw Su Zhengqing standing in the corridor on the second floor of the girls' dormitory. Thank you. The woman with black framed glasses thanked Su Zhengqing before wanting to leave. Shoo! The next moment, another sharp arrow pierced through the air and hit a wooden board in front of the woman with black-framed glasses, causing her body to tremble slightly. The woman with black-framed glasses was full of excitement. She was startled, but she didn't dare to run forward anymore. She was afraid of being shot by Zhengqing's arrow. Zhengqing flipped over and jumped down from the second floor of the girls' dormitory. He was already on the first floor of the demon refining realm, and his current physical fitness even surpassed that of top special forces soldiers. Also, it has been a month since the outbreak of the apocalypse, and there are not many zombies downstairs anymore. Only a few scattered ones are wandering unconsciously. Zhengqing accelerated his speed and ran towards the woman with black-framed glasses. "Take me to your shelter." Zhengqing arrived in front of the woman with black-framed glasses, staring at her with a cold tone and an irresistible command. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Refining Corpse Blood Technique, Demon Road Essence Blood. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Refining Corpse Blood Technique, Demon Road Essence Blood. Okay. The woman wearing black-framed glasses opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but looking at Zhengqing's indifferent gaze and cold expression, thinking about the neat and sharp arrow technique that killed the zombie, she nodded obediently. Wait a moment. The woman wearing black-framed glasses stood up and was about to lead Zhengqing, but she was stopped by Zhengqing's call, so she looked at him in confusion. Zhengqing turned his head to look at the terrifying zombie lying on the ground, whose head had already been blown out. After a moment of silence, he first put away the mechanical composite bow in his hand. Refining Corpse Blood Technique. Buzz. Zhengqing pinched out 3 special magic seals with both hands and activated the magic blood within the magic vein, combining the magic blood with the 3 special magic seals to resonate. Finally, transformed into 3 streams of blood, merging into the body of the zombie on the ground. The 3 streams of blood quickly spread throughout the body like blood streaks. In the blink of an eye, the entire corpse of the zombie seemed to have been drained and turned into a skeleton, with a drop of blood-black essence flying out from the center of the eyebrows. Brush. This drop of black blood essence turned into a stream of black blood, slowly merging into Zhengqing's body from the center of his eyebrows, and then being refined and absorbed by Zhengqing, transforming into a majestic demonic blood and merging into the demon veins. Among the first demon veins. At the beginning, the demonic blood was relatively thin, filling only about 1/10 of the first demonic vein. After absorbing this drop of black blood essence, the demonic blood at least doubled, filling 1/5 of the first demonic vein. Surprisingly succeeded. Zhengqing's face was full of joy. Refining Corpse Blood Technique. This is one of the magical spells recorded in the Inheritance of Magic in the realm of refining magic, mainly used to accelerate the cultivation speed of magic. As the name suggests, this magic spell can refine corpses into magic essence blood, and after absorbing magic essence blood, it will accelerate the cultivation speed. The materials used are the best for humans. I didn't expect the effect of the Demon Road Essence blood refined from zombie corpses to be so good. Zhengqing was overjoyed in his heart and said, "The cultivation of the devil's way is inherently harmful. If it were in the real world, I would never have killed anyone to cultivate." And another crucial point is, the more people you kill, the more obstacles you accumulate. At the beginning, it's okay, but as your level and skill increase, the accumulated obstacles will erupt. Mild cases can lead to serious injuries and death, and your cultivation will be completely depleted. Severe cases can result in the elimination of your body and death path. But I am currently in the apocalyptic world, and the demonic essence blood refined from zombie corpses has an excellent effect, no worse than using humans as materials. And that's it. Zombies cannot be considered human, so killing zombies does not accumulate karmic obstacles. Instead, it is favored by the heavenly Tao, just like eliminating demons and guarding the Tao. Ha! Zhengqing took a deep breath and thought of it. His mood became even more joyful. It can be imagined that this apocalyptic world will become a paradise for Zhengqing to practice magic skills. Sophie's face turned pale in fear at this moment, filled with fear in her heart. She never imagined that the man in front of her was so terrifying that he could refine the zombie into a drop of blood and even absorb it. So, the man in front of me is definitely not an ordinary person. He may have awakened a special ability just like the one in the supermarket shelter in the apocalypse. Your Excellency. Think of it here. Sophie reacted and showed a flattering smile. She even deliberately pulled her collar downwards, revealing a snow-white spring color, and said to Zhengqing with a pleasing expression, "You are really amazing. You shot the zombie's head with an arrow from so far away. Your Excellency. You must be a superpower awakened." A superpower. Zhengqing glanced at Sophie and saw that the woman in front of him was pretty. Although it had been a month since the end of the day, he didn't see how haggard she was. "I guess so," he said at the same time. Zhengqing also learned about the existence of the superpower from the woman in front of him. "Your Majesty, you are really amazing." Sophie approached Zhengqing, but Zhengqing casually moved her steps to the side. She had just arrived at this apocalyptic world and must be cautious enough to let an unfamiliar woman lean against her. Furthermore, it should be noted that Zhengqing is not his junior brother, so it is impossible to be fascinated by such a woman. Also, his ex-girlfriend is much more beautiful than the woman in front of him. Anyway, Zhengqing can be considered a top student. He even joined the archaeological team in Kyoto, but that accident ruined Zhengqing's future. The reason why he was unable to enter the marriage hall with his ex-girlfriend is that Zhengqing's background was not very good. He came from a rural area, but his ex-girlfriend was a woman from a wealthy family, and he couldn't get enough dowry, which led to his ex-girlfriend's parents refusing to agree. In fact, the dowry is not the real reason, it is because the parents of the ex-girlfriend do not like Zhengqing, which is why they came up with a sky-high price dowry to make Zhengqing difficult. Finally, the two of them can only choose to go their separate ways. Lead the way. Zhengqing retrieved 2 true feather carbon arrows and can continue to use them. The quality is quite good, and even such a true feather carbon arrow costs over 100 yuan. Zhengqing bought 12 true feather carbon arrows and spent a full 1,128 yuan on a discount coupon, offering a 72 yuan discount. "Yes, sir." Sophie reacted and didn't dare to approach anymore. She silently pulled up her collar, covering the snow-white spring light. Along the way, Zhengqing was cautious and learned through conversation that the shelter where Sophie was located could only be considered a small gathering place based on the school supermarket. There are about 100 people in the supermarket gathering place, and there are 3 superpowers, all of whom are teachers in the school. In a month, many things have changed, and the 3 superpowers have become the leaders of the gathering place, like local emperors. They act recklessly in the supermarket gathering place. And several female college students were also huahua by those 3 superpowers. The reason why Sophie came out is because a month has passed, and although there are many supplies in the supermarket, she has to support about 100 people, and the supplies are starting to be a bit tight. In this way, 3 supernatural beings forced many young adults to form a search team and sent them out to search for supplies. During this time, some disobedient individuals were killed on the spot. Sophie was a member of the search team, but during the search, she encountered an extremely terrifying mutated creature, which led to the destruction of the entire search team. Only Sophie managed to escape. Mutant organisms. Zhengqing pondered, what does it look like? That is a mutated creature standing 5 meters tall, like a giant lizard, with flames spewing out of its mouth. We have no ability to resist in front of that monster. Sophie said. Mutant lizard. Zhengqing was thinking in his heart. Shoo. Shoo. On his way to the supermarket gathering place, Zhengqing encountered several zombies, none of which could approach Zhengqing and had already been shot by him. The corpses of the 4 zombies were all refined into magical essence by Zhengqing using the technique of refining corpse blood. After all 4 drops of magical essence were refined and absorbed, the first magical vein had already filled up 50.3 of the magical blood, with only 2/5 remaining to be fully filled. We probably need to kill 4 more zombies. Sir, just walk ahead and you'll be there. Sophie said. Zhengqing nodded. Roar. However, before Zhengqing could approach, he had already heard a huge roar, which was definitely quite common among zombies. This made Zhengqing immediately alert. Be careful. Zhengqing shouted, then the cat got up and leaned against the nearby wall, slowly moving forward. When it reached the end, it could see the school supermarket ahead. However, the entire school supermarket was surrounded by zombies, and a mutated lizard with a body size of up to 5 meters knocked down all the buildings in the supermarket. It can be said. At least half of the people in the supermarket gathering place have died, and it is even possible that they have all died. How could this be? Sophie's face had turned pale from fear, and she leaned weakly against the wall next to her. Her eyes were even more lifeless, and she never expected that the supermarket gathering place would fall like this. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Mutated Lizard, Soul-Slaying Blood Blade. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Mutated Lizard, Soul-Slaying Blood Blade. The reason why Zhengqing wants to come to the gathering place here at the supermarket is actually to understand the situation of this apocalyptic world, and naturally to interact with other talents. In the real world, there is indeed no way to treat sequelae such as brain atrophy, and it is already very good to use medication to delay and maintain them. Also, the drugs that delay and maintain brain atrophy are very expensive. So, Zhengqing wants to know to what extent medical technology has developed in this apocalyptic world, the helplessness of brain atrophy in the real world, whether there are specific drugs or other methods in the apocalyptic world. If so, that would be even better. There really isn't any. Zhengqing can only strive to improve his demonic cultivation as much as possible, nourish his brain with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, revitalize himself, and repair permanent damage to his brain tissue. At this moment, the supermarket gathering place has been surrounded by hundreds of zombies, and with the addition of a mutated giant lizard, Zhengqing cannot help. If he does, he will definitely be targeted by the mutated giant lizard, which will cause a lot of trouble. So many zombies are not something Zhengqing can solve. Ah! Zhengqing heard various screams. The supermarket gathering place has fallen, and many people have been bitten alive by zombies, as well as eaten by mutated giant lizards, with an extremely pungent smell of blood. Of course, the people in the gathering place also resisted, but faced with so many zombies and mutated lizards, the resistance appeared extremely powerless and could not escape the consequences of death. This is. Zhengqing saw 3 mutants in the supermarket gathering place, who were not dead yet. These 3 mutants were all middle-aged men, and one of them could strengthen his own strength. After activating the mutants, his strength could increase by 3 to 5 times, and other aspects of his physical fitness could also be slightly improved. There is also one who can enhance their own speed. After activating the ability, their speed can be increased by 2 to 4 times, and other aspects can also be slightly improved. Finally, the third superpower is different, possessing a special ability to control fire, which can condense a fist-sized fireball in the palm of the hand. Its explosive power is not weak, and its killing power is several times lower than that of ordinary hand grenades. However, Even these three superpowers still appear so powerless in front of this terrifying mutated giant lizard, they are no match at all. Also, the fire control ability of the third ability makes it difficult for the condensed fireballs to shatter the scale defense on the mutated giant lizard, which is not of the same level at all. So strong. Zhengqing's expression was solemn. Although he was already on the first level of the demon refining realm, an ordinary zombie could easily be shot. However, in front of this mutated giant lizard, it was unknown whether the arrow with demonic blood attached could break its defense. It's impossible to kill a mutated giant lizard. According to Zhengqing's preliminary judgment, the strength of this mutated giant lizard is already relative to the fourth level of the demon refining realm. Zhengqing is only the first level of the demon refining realm and definitely not an opponent. Unless Zhengqing can refine a destructive, magic weapon. Is it a magical tool? Zhengqing pondered, and his mind came to mind the methods of refining various magical tools recorded in the Inheritance of Magic, with the most common being tools such as the soul-swallowing banner and the human skin drum. However, to refine the soul-devouring banner and human skin drum, special materials are needed. Based on Zhengqing's current situation, it is impossible to find all the materials needed to refine the soul-devouring banner and human skin drum. After thinking for a long time, Zhengqing has decided to refine the demonic magic weapon. Soul-slaying blood blade. The reason is very simple. There are only two materials needed to refine the soul-slaying blood blade. That is, human bones, flesh and blood. The apocalyptic world. There are corpses everywhere. That's it. Zhengqing made a decision. Ah! At this moment, a mournful scream sounded. These three superpowers, who had been the local emperor for less than a month and were abusing themselves in the supermarket gathering place, were eaten by the mutated giant lizard in front of them, and their fate was indeed tragic. It's time to go. Zhengqing stood up and was about to leave. The supermarket gathering place had been captured, and staying here was meaningless. Moreover, there was a possibility of being discovered by mutated giant lizards. Big adults. Sophie woke up in shock and wanted to follow Zhengqing. However, Zhengqing didn't look back and quickened his pace. He quickly made a few turns, jumped over a few thresholds and walls, and completely shook off Sophie. Zhengqing couldn't have influenced himself with a drag bottle like Sophie. Damn it. Sophie couldn't help but look resentful as she couldn't catch up anymore. Even though her strength is so strong and she is a superpower, why can't she bring me along? Why can't she bring me along? You superpowers are all animals. They are all animals. On the other side, Zhengqing naturally didn't know about Sophie's situation, and even if he did, he wouldn't mind because Zhengqing was not originally from this world and could go back anytime and anywhere. Currently, in Zhengqing's eyes, this apocalyptic world is a paradise for him to cultivate magic skills, and also his only hope for curing brain atrophy. I don't have any food left on me. Zhengqing pondered. I originally thought I could get food in the gathering place, but the gathering place fell, but this school should have more than one gathering place. In the apocalyptic world, food is really hard to find, so let's go back first. Ha! My mind twitched. Zhengqing communicated his own adventures and opportunities in the dark, and immediately strands of white mist appeared before his eyes. These white mist gathered into a font, forming a picture similar to a game panel. Name: Zhengqing. Age: 27 years old. Realm: the first layer of the demon refining realm. Technique: the first level of the immortal and demon manual. Spell: refining corpse blood technique. Divine power: none. Treasure: none. Spirit value: 1,157 points. Shuttle through the world. The real world. Inheritance. None. Return to the real world. Zhengqing confirmed. Buzz. There was a dazzling white light in front of him, and when all the dazzling white light around him had dissipated, Zhengqing had returned to the real world. Look around. Zhengqing found himself back in the forest, where he was traveling through the apocalyptic world. I'm back. Zhengqing relaxed both physically and mentally. In the apocalyptic world, the apocalyptic disaster erupted, with zombies everywhere and dangers lurking around. Any slight mistake could put his life in danger. Returning to the real world allows one to relax, as the security in Xia country is excellent and it is an era of peace and happiness. It smells too bad on me, I can't just go home like this. Zhengqing lowered his head and glanced at himself. He found a small river at the foot of the mountain not far away and jumped into it to take a shower. He hadn't washed himself for about 10 days, and it was indeed dirty and smelly. After washing for a while, he put on his wet clothes and quickly went ashore, operating the immortal and demon scriptures. The demon's blood was surging, forming a scorching high temperature. Not for a while. Zhengqing's body was filled with thick steam, which had already dried his wet clothes. As for the viruses and bacteria from the apocalyptic world that he was infected with, they were already destroyed by the power of time and space during his travels. Get it done. Zhengqing was very satisfied and packed his things, go home. Approaching evening. Zhengqing returned home. Grandpa, parents. Zhengqing shouted, I'm back. Zhengqing has returned. Miao Huilan said, has everything been done? Done, Mom. Zhengqing smiled and said. At night. After finishing dinner, Zhengqing rested in his own room. During dinner, Zhengqing communicated and talked with his parents and grandfather. Finally, Zhengqing learned that he had only been away for a little over a day. That is to say, the time flow between the real world and the apocalyptic world is about 10 times different. 1 day has passed in the real world, and 10 days have passed in the apocalyptic world. The gap is indeed quite significant. In the blink of an eye. 2 days later. Zhengqing rested at home and prepared enough food. After bidding farewell to his parents, he once again came to that forest. Shuttle. Buzz. My mind twitched. Zhengqing has once again entered the apocalyptic world. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Bone Beads, Casting the Second Magic Vein, Seeking Collection. Seeking the Moon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Bone Beads, Casting the Second Magic Vein, Seeking Collection. Seeking Monthly Tickets. The Apocalyptic World. Zhengqing returned to the place where he had left before, which was a remote dormitory. The dormitory was empty and very messy, with various garbage on the ground and a musty and rotten smell in the air. Depart. Zhengqing packed his backpack, placed a military knife and dagger around his waist, and held a mechanical composite bow in his hand. With renewed energy, he quickly left this remote dormitory. Next. Zhengqing needs to understand the layout of the entire school and hopes to find survivors to inquire about some specific situations in this apocalyptic world. Of course. The most important thing is to hunt down zombies, improve cultivation, and refine the demonic magic weapon. Soul-slaying blood blade. Roar. A deep roar sounded. Not long after Zhengqing left the remote dormitory, he met a stumbling zombie at a corner. The zombie looked like a fat ball, already bald, with tattered and dirty suits and shoes. Before turning into a zombie, this must have been a greasy middle-aged man with a bald head and a big belly. Zhengqing quickly drew his bow and aimed, with a shudder sound, the sharp arrow burst into the air. The bread on the arrow was wrapped in a faint blood light, and with a bang sound, the head of the zombie was shot out, exploding like a smashed watermelon, with rotting flesh splattering everywhere, staining the surrounding walls and ground. The headless body also collapsed straight down. Ha! Zhengqing breathed a sigh of relief. With the mechanical composite bow in his hand, as well as his own physical fitness, coupled with his demonic aura, an ordinary zombie like him could easily be killed. It can be said. As long as Zhengqing is not surrounded by ordinary zombies and the number does not exceed 10, there is basically no need to worry too much. There are not only ordinary zombies in school. Zhengqing's expression was solemn. After swallowing enough flesh and blood, there were evolved mutated zombies and mutated creatures similar to mutated giant lizards. Besides that, there are also individuals with varying abilities on the human side. These are all potential dangers, and I cannot take them lightly. I still need to improve my cultivation and strength as soon as possible, so that I can navigate this apocalyptic world with ease. Refining corpse blood technique. Buzz. Zhengqing walked over to the side of the zombie body, pinched out the seal with both hands, and tempered the zombie body into a drop of magic essence blood. The Immortal and Demon Manual. Zhengqing absorbed this drop of magic blood essence, and the magic blood in the first magic vein became more and more abundant, not far from being completely filled. Bone quenching technique. Click. Zhengqing looked at the corpses on the ground that had turned into skin and bones, and then pinched out one magical seal after another, forming a total of 5 magical seals, which were infused with magical blood and resonated, causing the 5 magical seals to slowly transform into a ghostly white color. Buzz. The 5 white magic seals were integrated into the skin and bones of the corpse, and the essence of the bones was quenched. The bones of a corpse were quenched into a bone bead the size of a green bean. This is the bone beads needed to refine the demonic magic tool. Soul-slaying blood blade. Zhengqing held the bone beads in his hand and played with them. They were crystal clear and white all over, but opaque, like beads of glutinous jade, only the size of mung beans. Upon closer inspection, one would notice that the bone beads contained a sense of corpse and resentment. It can be imagined. Every human who becomes a zombie must be filled with a strong sense of resentment, and the zombie itself is a type of zombie monster that also contains corpse energy. So, the bone beads, refined from the bones of zombies, are indeed of extremely high quality. If it were to be replaced by an ordinary person, they would have to be abused and tortured first, causing the other person to die in great resentment. After their death, they would have to find a place to raise the corpse for a period of time before finally refining such high-quality bone beads. Okay. Zhengqing was extremely satisfied and whispered softly, with my current cultivation and realm, I can only refine inferior magical tools at most. Refining the inferior soul-slaying blood blade, in the best case, it can be refined with 108 bone beads and blood soul beads, which can produce the best inferior soul-slaying blood blade. Ha! Zhengqing took a deep breath and pondered, this is a long and arduous project. Zombies. Zhengqing said in a low voice, your uncle Zhengqing is here. Wash your necks and wait. I will catch you all in one go. After giving a motivating second-year speech in a deserted place. Raise your spirits. Zhengqing continued to depart. Not long ago, Zhengqing discovered 3 zombies wandering in a classroom. Because the door and windows of the classroom were closed, these 3 zombies could not come out of the classroom, so they were trapped. Bang! Zhengqing aimed from a distance, and the sharp arrow wrapped in the blood of the demon shattered the window glass, further killing one of the zombies. Shoo! Shoo! In the blink of an eye, 2 arrows pierced the air again, and the other 2 zombies were shot and killed by Zhengqing one after another. Let's go. Zhengqing quickened his pace, quickly flipped over the window, and entered the classroom. He used the blood refining and bone refining techniques to refine the 3 zombies into 3 drops of demonic essence blood and 3 bone beads. The harvest is quite good. Buzz. Buzz. Zhengqing quickly absorbed all 3 drops of demon essence blood, and in the demon vein, the demon blood was surging and surging, filling the entire demon vein. In other words, Zhengqing can now try to cast and condense the second magic vein, but he has just filled it up. It is not that simple for him to cast and condense the second magic vein. It's not enough for now. Zhengqing pondered, I can collect more magical essence and blood, and then refine the collected magical essence and blood to achieve another breakthrough. You should know. Zhengqing cultivates the Immortal and Demon Manual, which is the supreme magic scripture that points directly to the path of becoming an immortal in the demon realm. In the first realm of Demon Refining Realm, he can forge the highest 365 demon veins. So, Zhengqing was able to forge 30 magic veins in the first layer of the Demon Refining Realm, indicating that Zhengqing's cultivation had just begun. Time flies. In the blink of an eye. 3 days have passed. This day. At noon. The scorching sun is shining brightly, and the temperature is getting hotter and hotter. Zhengqing found another relatively remote dormitory and confirmed that there were no people, zombies, or mutated creatures wandering around. He began his cultivation. The first volume of the Immortal and Demon Manual. Buzz. Buzz. Zhengqing sat cross-legged, practicing his techniques. A dark magic vein slowly appeared on his body, which had completely solidified. The second demon pulse. Condense. Boom. Zhengqing let out a soft drink, and the demonic blood from the first demon vein surged out, triggering the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Next to the first demon vein, he began to condense and forge the second demon vein. Not long ago. The second illusory magic vein slowly condenses out, but it is not enough. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the apocalyptic world is already insufficient, so most of the casting of magic veins relies on the blood energy of the demon path. Now, the demonic blood contained in the first demon vein is insufficient to support the casting and refining of the second demon vein. I was already prepared. Zhengqing's heart twitched as drops of magical essence flew out of his arms, with a total of 10 drops arranged in a row. My mind twitched. 10 drops of magical essence and blood quickly merged into Zhengqing's body from the center of his eyebrows, and were rapidly refined by Zhengqing, forming a rich magical blood gas. Ning. Boom. Zhengqing let out a soft drink again, using the energy of 10 drops of demonic blood essence and a large amount of demonic blood as the foundation to blend in the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. With Zhengqing's own spiritual mechanism, he successfully forged the second demonic vein. Buzz. Buzz. Although Zhengqing did not receive the baptism of heaven and earth's spiritual energy again, after forging the second demon vein, his strength significantly improved, his physical fitness also increased significantly, and his brain tissue was slightly nourished by the demon's blood. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Longguo Metrology University, Harvest Full. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Longguo Metrology University, Harvest Full. Finally, the second magic vein has been cast. Zhengqing's face showed a smile. In 3 days, I hunted and killed nearly 20 zombies in this school, and also encountered some mutated zombies during that time. Brush. With a wave of his right hand, Zhengqing immediately saw 20.4 almost identical bone beads suspended in front of him, each containing corpse and resentment, all of which were extremely suitable materials. 24 bone beads have been refined, 80.4 are still missing from 108. Blood soul beads have not been refined because the zombies' flesh and blood have been refined into magic essence. Zhengqing pondered, I have now forged a second magic vein, greatly enhancing my physical fitness, and using enough magic blood to alleviate the aftermath of brain atrophy. Next, I should focus most of my energy on refining the demonic magic tool. Soul-slaying blood blade. Only in this way can I accelerate my hunting speed. Buzz. Buzz. Zhengqing took out the remaining 10 drops of demonic essence and blood, and used the first level of the immortal and demon manual technique. Drops of demonic essence and blood slowly integrated into his body through his eyebrows. Finally, it has been completely absorbed. Not bad. Zhengqing felt the condition of the 2 demon veins. The first demon vein was filled with demonic blood, like a surging river flowing, while the second demon vein had already filled half of its demonic blood. So, Zhengqing only needs to absorb about 10 more drops of magical essence and blood, and he can fill all the magical blood of the second magical vein. The cultivation speed of the magical vein is indeed very fast. If it is a normal cultivation, it needs to slowly absorb the essence of heaven and earth, and slowly accumulate qi and blood. It is impossible to form a second spiritual vein in such a short time. Of course, the cultivation of demonic arts emphasizes quick success, plundering the creations of others, in order to improve oneself. In the normal world of cultivation, demonic cultivators, and those who slaughter cities and destroy the country only need to refine a magic weapon. It can be said, in the eyes of the true demon, all things in the world are like grass, and everything between heaven and earth can be plundered just to achieve oneself. After half a day of closed cultivation, Zhengqing stabilized his demonic blood and left the dormitory to continue hunting zombies. Time flies by. In the blink of an eye. Another 10 days have passed. Within 10 days, Zhengqing was like a wandering zombie hunter, searching for zombies to hunt and kill. During this period, Zhengqing also encountered several powerful mutated zombies, all of which he watched from a distance and did not go to provoke them. Also, through these 10 days of hunting, Zhengqing has figured out the specific situation of this school. It is a first-class university, fully named Longguo Metrology University. The entire school covers an area of 1620 acres and has 19 colleges, departments, centers, offering 58 undergraduate majors. We have 2 doctoral degree authorized first-level discipline points, 15 master's degree authorized first-level discipline points, and 11 master's professional degree authorized points. The college has nearly 1,500 teachers, 18,000 full-time undergraduate students, and over 5,100 graduate students. You should know, this does not include other job positions such as school security guards and cleaning ants. It can be said, the number of people in the entire Longguo Metrology University is at least around 30,000. 10 days. Zhengqing has only explored about 1/3 of this Longguo Metrology University, discovering a total of 3 human gathering places and 2 places where zombies gather. These messages and intelligence were slowly obtained by Zhengqing through questioning in 3 human gathering places, which can be considered as a lot of effort. Also, Zhengqing also found a school professor in one of the human gathering places. Through inquiry, he learned that the medical technology in this apocalyptic world is almost the same as in the real world, and there is no specific drug or other way to treat brain atrophy. There is not much difference in technology between the 2 worlds. The only difference is, an unexpected apocalyptic disaster erupted in the apocalyptic world, and no one knew about the arrival of the apocalyptic virus, which plunged the entire world into chaos and disaster. The original order has been completely disrupted. At this point, Zhengqing arrived at the top of a teaching building. As the saying goes, he would climb to the top and overlook the small mountains. On the top of the teaching building, he could see many scenery. Roar! Roar! In the chaotic city, all the abandoned vehicles on the streets collided together, emitting black smoke. Many buildings collapsed and turned into ruins. Occasionally, unconscious zombies roamed the streets, and in no time, different explosions can be heard from afar. That's boom boom. Zhengqing's pupils contracted as he saw a giant zombie, resembling a tyrant in a science fiction movie, possessing terrifying power that could knock down a building. Also, in the clouds of the sky, giant birds fly past at supersonic speeds, resembling the terrifying monster golden eagle in mythological legends. All of these things. Everyone is telling Zhengqing that although the apocalyptic world has just erupted in just 2 months, it has undergone earth-shattering changes. Terrifying zombies, terrifying mutated creatures, and even some unknown entities can all take Zhengqing's life. We still need to stabilize. Zhengqing took a deep breath and said, compared to the ruins of the city outside the school, it's safer to stay inside the school and slowly develop. When I have enough strength, I will slowly explore outside the school. Let's go. Zhengqing turned around and left the roof of the teaching building. He found an independent office, which should be the leadership office of the school, with an estimated high position. The office was empty, with a set of valuable sofas. Zhengqing sat cross-legged on the sofa and began to organize the gains of the past 10 days. Buzz. Buzz. Wave your right hand. In front of Zhengqing's eyes, bone beads appeared, all of which were almost identical and made from the bones of ordinary zombies. Count carefully. There are a total of 1,124 bone beads. Subtracting the first 24 bone beads, he refined a total of 1,100 bone beads in these 10 days, which is compared to hunting a whole 1,100 ordinary zombies. That is to say, Zhengqing hunts and kills at least 110 ordinary zombies a day. It can be seen from this. During these 10 days, Zhengqing didn't take much rest and completely regained his spirit, fully hunting down the ordinary zombies in the school. Really, for a full 10 days, most of the scattered zombies were hunted by Zhengqing, with only 2 places gathering a large number of zombies, as well as many mutated zombies. The number of zombies gathered in these 2 places reached as many as 6,000 or 7,000. It can be said. In these 2 zombie gathering places, there must have been mutated zombies like the Corpse King, that can control other zombies, which is why so many zombies are gathered together. 1124 bone beads. Zhengqing pondered and said, it's already enough to refine the demonic magic tool. Lower-level soul-slaying blood blade, even mid-level ones can be refined. I just don't have enough cultivation to refine intermediate-level magical tools, because I will be backfired by the magical energy contained in the magical tools. Brush. My mind twitched. Zhengqing took out the magical essence and blood soul beads that had been refined during this period of time. Among them, there are 550 blood soul beads and 550 drops of devil's essence blood. Not bad. Zhengqing was very satisfied. I stayed in the apocalyptic world for about 14 days, and I had already eaten all the food I brought from the real world. I also collected some food in this school. It's almost time to go back to the real world. Of course. Before going back, he needs to refine the demon magic tool. Soul-slaying blood blade, and use all the demon essence blood, because it is impossible to cultivate in the real world, and all of these need to be completed in the apocalyptic world. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Power Mutated Zombies. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Power Mutated Zombies, the first volume of the Immortal and Demon Manual. Zhengqing sat cross-legged on the sofa in the office, practicing his martial arts. Blood mist rose up all over his body, and 2 black magic veins slowly appeared on his surface. One of them had completely solidified, while the other had partially solidified. Buzz. Buzz. Zhengqing began to absorb the essence of the demonic way. Drops of demonic way essence slowly merged into his body from his eyebrows, gradually being absorbed and refined into demonic way blood. Unconsciously, Zhengqing has refined 11 drops of magical essence, and the magical blood in the second magical vein has been completely filled. You can try casting the third magical vein. Immortal and demon casting body. Zhengqing let out a soft drink, his martial arts were in operation, and the blood of the demon path surged, triggering the spiritual energy of the surrounding heaven and earth. The third demon pulse. Condense. Boom. Zhengqing's whole body trembled, and the third demon vein began to condense and forge. At the beginning, it was extremely unreal and not at all real. And although there is spiritual energy in the apocalyptic world, it is not rich and extremely thin. Only when the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, like bricks, completely melts into a mist state, can it become a true world of cultivation. In this way, due to the lack of spiritual energy in heaven and earth, Zhengqing found it difficult to condense and forge the third magical vein. In order to make up for the lack of spiritual energy in heaven and earth, he had to incorporate more magical blood energy. So, Zhengqing continued to absorb the essence and blood of the demonic realm to fill the gaps, forming an increasingly abundant demonic energy that merged into the third illusory demon vein. Finally, it was only after Zhengqing refined 20 drops of magical essence that the third magical vein was completely forged and condensed. Although it was illusory, it was truly forged, and the magical blood flowed within the third magical vein. I succeeded. Zhengqing breathed a sigh of relief, his expression slightly joyful, and murmured softly, "The third magic vein has been cast." If it is the lowest level of magic cultivation, casting the third magic vein can break through to the third layer of the demon refining realm. However, in the first level of the Immortal and Demon Manual, the three demon veins are still the first level of the demon refining realm, and they are far from breaking through to the second level of the demon refining realm. Also, if one cultivates the lowest level of magic techniques, even if they reach the 12th level of the demon refining realm, they will never be able to break through to the second realm. Completing the demon refining realm is the limit. Next, Zhengqing continued to absorb and refine the essence of the demon realm. He already had a total of 550 drops of demon realm essence in his hand, which had just broken through and consumed 31 drops, with 519 drops remaining. Continue to cultivate. Zhengqing has completely lost his mind. Buzz. 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 Zhengqing used his martial arts skills and slowly absorbed the essence and blood of the demon path. This time, he absorbed a full 50 drops of the essence and blood of the demon path before fully filling the third demon vein with the demon path's blood. Immortal and demon casting body. Fourth magic vein. Condensing. Boom. Zhengqing let out a soft drink, realizing that the cultivation of the magic technique is so domineering and unreasonable, without any so-called sedimentation or stability. Generally speaking, as long as the opportunity and level of cultivation are reached, one can directly break through. However, the various resources required for the cultivation of demonic arts are unreasonable and accumulate countless karmic obstacles. Therefore, although the cultivation of demonic arts is fast, a slight mistake is to be completely overwhelmed by one's own karmic obstacles, and ultimately die and disappear. For example, the essence and blood of the demon path. The reason why Zhengqing has nothing to do is because this is the end of the world, and all he hunts are zombies. If it were humans, Zhengqing would have killed thousands of people, and the karmic obstacles would be extremely terrifying. During cultivation, there are definitely many demons in his heart, and various mistakes would occur in his daily practice. It's different now. Zhengqing killed a zombie, not only without any karmic obstacles, but also favored by the heavenly Tao. After reaching a certain level, he may even receive merit rewards, which is of great help for cultivation. This is relative to subduing demons and eliminating demons. This is also why many righteous people are eager to subdue demons and eliminate them, because the major demons on the cholera side have already affected the normal operation of the world. Eliminating these levels of major demons can earn merit and greatly help one's own cultivation. Buzz. 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 Su Zhengqing absorbed drops of magical essence and blood. After absorbing 40 drops of magical essence and blood, he used the majestic magical blood to merge the spiritual energy of heaven and earth with his own spiritual mechanism, casting the fourth magical vein. 4 magical veins had already appeared on his body's surface, 3 of which were completely solidified, and the 4th appeared unreal. Come again. Su Zhengqing continued his cultivation. Time passes by. Su Zhengqing's speed of absorbing the essence of the demonic way is getting faster and faster. This time, after absorbing a full 120 drops of demonic way essence, the 4th demonic vein has completely filled the demonic way blood, extremely full. The 5th demon pulse. Condense. Su Zhengqing let out a soft drink and forged the magic vein again. The 5th magic vein slowly formed and condensed, absorbing drops of magical essence and blood. After fully absorbing 90 drops of magical essence and blood, the 5th magical vein was successfully forged. The vast magical blood qi nourishes the body, greatly enhancing the 5 organs and 6 organs, and providing significant nourishment to the brain tissue, alleviating the symptoms of brain atrophy. Continue. Finally, Su Zhengqing absorbed all the remaining 221 drops of magical essence, but the 5th magical vein's magical blood was not completely filled, only 90% was filled, and there was still a gap of 10%, about 30.40 drops of magical essence. Ha! Su Zhengqing opened his eyes, and he had already awakened from his cultivation state. He slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid qi, which, with his extremely strong 5 organs and 6 internal organs, formed like an arrow of qi. He exhaled 1 meter away, which was truly remarkable. It has gradually become inhumane. This time, I absorbed 550 drops of magical essence and blood, and my magical veins were also forged into 5. I don't know how much stronger I am than before. Su Zhengqing was thinking in his heart. It's just a pity. Su Zhengqing also doesn't have a reference point, so he doesn't know how strong he is now. Although he is still the first level of the demon refining realm, his strength is much stronger than when he first started his demonic path. Bang! Bang! This is... Su Zhengqing heard the sound of impact coming from outside the office door. He frowned and quickly jumped off the sofa, picking up the mechanical composite bow beside him. Boom! A loud bang. The office door was smashed open with brute force, and what appeared at the door was a mutated zombie of power type, with bulging muscles and iron blue skin. It was 2 meters tall, like a muscular man, with crimson eyes and a deep roar. It can be said. Like this mutated zombie, Su Zhengqing has encountered many of them in the past 10 days, but he has never provoked them, and now he is still being targeted. Shoo! Su Zhengqing quickly drew his bow and shot arrows, aiming at the head of the power-type mutant zombie. The sharp arrow wrapped in demonic blood burst out of the air. Brush! However, the sharp arrow shot by Su Zhengqing was caught by this mutated zombie and failed to hit the opponent. The tip of the arrow was about 1 centimeter away from the forehead of this power-type mutated zombie. Boom! Su Zhengqing's mind moved, and the demonic blood attached to the sharp arrow exploded, creating an explosive effect, like a small hand grenade. This explosion shattered the palm of the power mutant zombie, but at the same time, the true feather carbon arrow was also scrapped, losing 100 yuan. I feel a bit heartbroken. That's why I haven't taken action against these mutated zombies in the past 10 days. Su Zhengqing said, although the mechanical composite bow has the advantages of simple acquisition, long range, and high accuracy, the weight of the bow blade has already locked in its power. If it weren't for the attachment of the demon's blood, the arrow just now wouldn't have hurt this power-type mutant zombie at all. The result would have been a close combat between me and the mutant zombie. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Prohibition of Magic Tools. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Prohibition of Magic Tools Roar. Power-type mutated zombies are roaring loudly. Mutated zombies like this are different from ordinary zombies, possessing a shred of intelligence and no longer relying solely on instinctual actions. Boom! The powerful force shook the floors beneath Zhengqing's feet, and the soles of his feet could feel this vibration. The pavement was filled with a strong smell of decay and blood. This zombie pounced at Zhengqing as quickly as possible. Magic Flame Technique. Buzz. Zhengqing took a deep breath, gave a soft drink, and quickly squeezed out 6 magic seals with both hands, mobilizing the blood and energy of the magic in his body, and then triggering a trace of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth around him. The two were combined together, combined with Zhengqing's magic seal. Boom! In an instant. It was a blood-black demon flame that burned between his hands, like a fist-sized fireball, locking onto the power mutant zombie and colliding head-on. Bang! Roar! This blood-black demon flame bombarded the head of this power mutant zombie and quickly spread, causing the entire head to start burning. Finally, the head of this power mutant zombie was burned to ashes. From beginning to end. This power mutant zombie had no resistance and could not even approach Zhengqing's 2-meter range. I am a demon cultivator, not a body-refining cultivator, let alone a warrior. Fighting these mutated zombies in close proximity is not just a clever way to do it, is it? Zhengqing pursed his lips and was quite satisfied with the outcome of this battle. Firstly, Zhengqing has forged 5 magic veins, and his body has enough magic blood to use the demon flame technique. If it were in the past, only 1 or 2 magic veins had been forged, and the magic blood in his body was not enough to support the use of the demon flame technique, so he had to choose close combat. Refining corpse blood technique. Zhengqing walked up to this power-type mutant zombie and used the blood refining technique to refine the entire corpse into 10 drops of demonic essence blood. Obviously, this power-type mutant zombie can rival 10 ordinary zombies. Additionally, Zhengqing further refined the bones of this corpse and obtained a refined resentful bone bead. This material is exactly what is needed to refine the top-grade soul-slaying blood blade. Also, in the inheritance of magic, there is also a defensive magic tool called the 10,000 Skull Pagoda, which also requires the use of refined resentful bone beads as a material for refining. It's better to refine the soul-slaying blood blade as soon as possible. Zhengqing thought inwardly. Also, he cast a magic flame spell once, which consumed nearly 1/3 of Zhengqing's current magic energy. Therefore, in Zhengqing's current peak state, he can only cast a magic flame spell 3 times, and then he will exhaust his magic energy. Next, Zhengqing refined a drop of magical essence blood, replenished the consumed magical energy, restored it to its peak state, and left this office. In half an hour, Zhengqing found another quiet office on the top floor of the teaching building. That's it here. Zhengqing settled here and inspected the surroundings, but did not find any zombies or living creatures. He was preparing to refine the demonic magic weapon. Soul-slaying blood blade. Step 1. Buzz. 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 Zhengqing sat cross-legged and opened his right palm. In the center of his palm, he used a sharp blade to cut through his skin and carved a special magic formation. Named Blood Inflammation Formation. Burning. Boom. Zhengqing let out a soft drink and activated the demonic blood in his body, injecting it into the blood inflammation formation in the palm of his hand through the magic pulse, stimulating it. Blood inflammation formation. Zhengqing uses himself as the eye of the formation, his own blood, as well as the blood of the demon path, as fuel, and introduces a trace of the surrounding heaven and earth spiritual energy to stimulate the blood flame formation and use it to refine magical tools. Step 2. After the blood flame formation had been activated, in the palm of Zhengqing's right hand, the flames that had formed a blood color burned and slowly rose, extremely hot but emitting a strange coldness. The shape of the flames formed the shape of lotus petals. Go. Zhengqing took out bone beads and quickly dropped them into the blood inflammation array. The burning blood inflammation gradually melted the bone beads, removing the impurities contained in them, leaving only the pure essence. You can see. A bone bead is being refined, impurities are removed, and after being refined, only a transparent liquid about the size of sesame seeds remains. Time passes by. 108 bone beads have all been refined by Zhengqing, with impurities removed and refined into a transparent liquid that is the size of sesame seeds. Buzz. Buzz. These transparent liquids all fuse together to form a ball of liquid. Step 3. Zhengqing took out 108 blood soul beads, which were collected from the demonic magic. Blood soul technique. They fuse the essence and blood of the whole body, as well as the spirituality of the soul, to form the blood soul beads. The blood soul pearl is the material used to refine the soul-slaying blood blade. Go. Zhengqing controlled blood soul beads, which were refined through the blood flame formation and turned into drops of pure blood soul water, slowly blending into the transparent liquid. So. The transparent liquid gradually became infected into a silver-red color. Slowly. 108 blood soul beads were completely integrated into it, and under the forging and refining of blood flame, the two materials were completely fused together. Step 4. Zhengqing began to shape this magical tool, and its shape was slowly changing. Under Zhengqing's control, it gradually turned into a silver blood-colored dagger, with a length of about 20 centimeters. Puff. Zhengqing's face was pale, which was caused by his excessive consumption. At the last moment, he endured the pain and forcefully bit through the tip of his tongue, spitting out a mouthful of hot blood from the tip of his tongue, quenching the demonic magic tool. Lower-level soul-slaying blood blade. With a whoosh. The final step of the inferior soul-slaying blood blade has been completed. At the same time, inside this magical tool, there are various tool prohibitions that are being derived, and a total of 90 tool prohibitions have been derived. This. Zhengqing was surprised in his heart and said, there are actually 90 forbidden magical tools. This is probably the limit of inferior magical tools, and their power is probably not weaker than ordinary mid-level magical tools. You should know. Magic tools. It is divided into 4 levels. Lower grade, middle grade, top grade, and top grade. Among them, the most exquisite magical tools can generate a total of 365 forbidden tools, while inferior magical tools can generate up to 90 forbidden tools. So, Zhengqing, for the first time refining magical tools, surprisingly produced a lower-grade magical tool that could give rise to 90 forbidden magical tools. This is already very good. The reason for this is simple. The bone beads and blood soul beads used to refine the soul-slaying blood blade are both the most exquisite materials that can be refined. Cough. Zhengqing coughed a few times, and the blood inflammation quickly dissipated. He also quickly refined a drop of magical essence blood, replenishing the consumed magical blood. Hiss. Zhengqing felt the change in himself. This time, he refined the demonic magic tool. Lower-grade soul-slaying blood blade, which took about 3 days. The blood flame formation almost burned up 1/3 of Zhengqing's blood, and the magical blood in his body was almost completely depleted. It can be said. Zhengqing is currently quite weak. It's okay. The refining of the soul-slaying blood blade has been successful, and all these efforts are worth it. Under Su Zhengqing's control, the silver-bloodied soul-slaying blood blade is like a swimming fish, dancing gracefully around Su Zhengqing. The soul-slaying blood blade is manipulated with the demonic blood and Su Zhengqing's consciousness. Currently, the farthest manipulation distance is about 10 meters away from Su Zhengqing. As long as he leaves Su Zhengqing's 10-meter range, he will lose control over the soul-slaying blood blade. Ha! Su Zhengqing took a deep breath and quickly put away the soul-slaying blood blade. With his current state, it was impossible for him to refine the magic weapon into his body. "I'd better hurry back to the real world and rest for a while," he said, "Shuttle." Buzz. Without hesitation. Su Zhengqing's mind twitched as a dazzling white light flashed before his eyes, and he had already left the apocalyptic world. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Gunshots. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Gunshots. Su Zhengqing's vision returned to normal, and the dazzling white light slowly dissipated. He returned to the forest in the real world, looked up, and saw the mottled moonlight shining through the gaps between trees, branches, and leaves, scattered on the ground of the forest. "I'm back." Su Zhengqing took a deep breath. This time, Su Zhengqing stayed in the apocalyptic world for about 23 days, consuming 230 spiritual points, practicing in seclusion, and refining magical tools for nearly 10 days. It can be said. On this trip to the end of the world, Su Zhengqing's harvest was enormous. He not only forged 5 magic veins, but also refined the top-notch inferior soul-slaying blood blade. On my first trip to the apocalyptic world, I stayed for 11 days, and this time I stayed for 20.3 more days. With 1267 points left, I only had 927 spiritual points. Su Zhengqing pondered, this is not a solution. I must figure out how to obtain spiritual value in the real world in order to develop in the long run. Otherwise, in the absence of replenishing spiritual points, 927 points can only allow me to stay in the apocalypse world for 9 or 12 days, and then I cannot go to the apocalypse world. Let's go back first. Su Zhengqing pondered. Suddenly. Su Zhengqing's expression condensed. After forging 5 demon veins, his physical fitness had already evolved towards non-human beings, and his 5 senses were extremely sensitive. Just now, Su Zhengqing heard a different movement. Someone is approaching. Su Zhengqing's eyes were solemn, and he leaped up like a martial arts expert, jumping directly onto the top of a big tree, using thick leaves to cover his figure. Bang! Bang! Suddenly, Su Zhengqing heard several rapid gunshots again. Stop! Don't run! You can't run away! The next moment, there were roars of anger coming. Gunshots. Su Zhengqing's expression was solemn. Although Su Zhengqing had evolved towards non-human beings, with his current physical fitness, it was obvious that he could not resist firearms with force. Of course. As long as Su Zhengqing's reaction is sufficient, he can manipulate the soul-slaying blood blade to block bullets. What happened? Su Zhengqing frowned. Magic eye technique. Buzz. Su Zhengqing's hands formed 3 magical seals, which mobilized the magical blood in his body. The 2 combined and flooded into his eyes. His eyes had completely transformed into lacquered black, and in the center of his eyes, there were blood-colored vertical pupils filled with a strange aura of blood. This is also a kind of magic spell that can greatly increase vision. This type of pupil technique can be practiced to a high depth and can also pull living beings into illusions. Su Zhengqing looked towards the direction where the gunshots were coming from, and after performing the magic pupil surgery, he was able to see at night like during the day, greatly enhancing his vision and even achieving a certain degree of perspective effect. Gunfight. Su Zhengqing saw the specific situation clearly, and it was the 12 fan criminals who entered his field of vision. Under the magic eye technique, he could even see that these criminals were afraid of strong karmic obstacles, as if they had turned into a black and blood mist that enveloped them. It can be said. Most demons do not have such obstacles. 12 criminals were fleeing in the woods, and the pursuit of them was naturally by well-equipped police officers. During the escape, 4 criminals were shot and killed on the spot. At the same time, several police officers were also injured. According to this situation, it's only a matter of time before these criminals are arrested or shot. However, in Zhengqing's observation, another team appeared in another direction. Although the number was not large, only about 9 people, each one was fully armed and equipped with excellent equipment. Hands-on. Kill. How much money does Xiaogua give you every month, you ignorant thieves? How dare you work so hard like labor and capital? Go to hell. Dog thing. A dense gunfire rang out. With the appearance of another team, this police force was surrounded and the situation immediately became dangerous. During the short exchange of fire, several police officers were seriously injured. Zhengqing's pupil's contract. Obviously, Zhengqing couldn't understand why such a thing happened here, in such a peaceful era, and it happened before his eyes. Also, the organization behind such a thing happening in Xia country is probably not simple. It could be an international multinational organization. At this moment, Zhengqing took a deep breath. If Zhengqing were just an ordinary person, he would not hesitate and would run away without staying here for a moment. And if Zhengqing were caught by these criminals, he would instead become a hostage for these criminals. However, Zhengqing is not an ordinary person. Yu Dao is a hero who breaks the ban with martial arts, carries sharp weapons, and has a murderous heart. My mind twitched. Zhengqing has already started the first part of the Immortal and Demon Manual. Among the 5 demon veins, the vast blood of the demon path flows like a rushing river. Not for a while. Zhengqing's body was filled with a faint glow of blood. Brush. Under the increase of the demon's blood, Zhengqing's speed surged. He was like the most agile monkey in the forest, jumping among the trees and jungles. Quietly approaching. In the blink of an eye, Zhengqing is already within 10 meters of the criminals. Soul-slaying blood blade. Buzz. Zhengqing lifted his right hand, and in the palm of his hand, a 20 centimeters long, silver-red dagger appeared, suspended above the palm, wrapped in a faint layer of blood. Death. Shoo. With a wave of his right hand, Zhengqing locked onto the nearest criminal. Under his control, the soul-slaying blood blade in his right palm transformed into a stream of light, swiftly sweeping across the night sky. Click. Puff. In an instant, the soul-slaying blood blade was like a hot blade cutting through butter, and the firearm in the opponent's hand was cut into 2 pieces. In his terrified gaze, his entire head was cut off, and blood sprayed out. The soul-slaying blood blade rolls backwards, absorbing all the sprayed blood. Puff. The headless body collapsed straight down. Who is it? Next to it. The others widened their glasses at the speed of the soul-slaying blood blade, combined with the environment of the night forest, making it impossible for them to see exactly what had happened. How could it be? Is it difficult, or is there support? Others have contracted their pupils. At this point. What happened? Do you have support? Which team? The police officers were also stunned. At this point. Spirit value plus 0.01. Spirit value plus 0.01. Zhengqing's expression froze for a moment. Has the spiritual value increased? What's going on? Why does the spiritual value increase? Is it because someone was killed? That's not right. Zhengqing shook his head and said, the increase in spiritual value is related to the emotions of living beings, not killing. At this point, these criminals are searching for Zhengqing everywhere, but Zhengqing is hiding extremely well. Under the cover of the night and forest environment, these people cannot find Zhengqing at all. Death. Zhengqing's gaze was cold, and his mind moved as he continued to manipulate the soul-slaying blood blade, like a cruel hunter wandering in the darkness, once again beheading a criminal. Death on the spot. Let's go. Quickly withdraw. Mad, hurry up, the support from these notes has arrived. Sha without hesitation. These people began to retreat, wanting to leave here. I don't even love to fight at all. I'll just stop and evacuate this place as quickly as possible. Zhengqing's heart twitched as the soul-slaying blood blade once again crossed the night sky, and then cut off one person's head. All of you must die. Zhengqing took a deep breath, without any hesitation, like a lonely wolf king walking in the forest, closely following behind this group of prey. Afterwards, kill these prey one by one. End of this chapter. 10. Chapter 10 Source of Spiritual Values, Seeking Collection. Seeking Recommendation. Seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Source of Spiritual Values, Seeking Collections, Seeking Recommendations, Seeking Monthly Tickets. Ah. What person? Who is it? Who the hell is it? Ghost. 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 Please spare your life. Oh my goodness. Fear. Unbreakable fear. Zhengqing wandered in the darkness of the forest, like a wandering god of death constantly harvesting life. One criminal after another died under Zhengqing's soul-slaying blood blade. And the soul-slaying blood blade absorbed fresh blood and the karma contained by these criminals, becoming increasingly enchanting, with black lines faintly appearing on the blade. Finally, all the criminals, a total of 17 people, were spared and all died under Zhengqing's soul-slaying blood blade, becoming the souls of the sword. There are headless corpses lying in the entire forest. Let's go. Zhengqing regained his senses, and the red light in his eyes gradually faded. He slowly calmed down, and his mind became clear. Zhengqing was taken aback and said, Obviously. After this incident ended and he completely calmed down, he knew he was impulsive and would have done such a thing, killing these criminals so coldly. Of course. These criminals really deserve to die. I'm really impulsive. Zhengqing took a deep breath and recalled his previous state, as if blood was surging. Impulsive emotions suppressed his rationality, leading to his reckless action. You should know. If there were other criminals and even more powerful weapons, Zhengqing was very likely to fall here, putting his life in danger. Zhengqing took a deep breath and said, it is indeed influenced by the magic technique that makes it easier for one's behavior and actions to be passionate and impulsive. But Zhengqing remained silent. Actually, if the incident happened again, even if Zhengqing could cope with it with calm emotions, he knew he would definitely take action. He couldn't have watched these criminals extinguish the police squad. And during his pursuit of these criminals, Zhengqing heard their conversation and learned that they were actually smuggling and selling counterfeit goods. It's simply a heinous crime. No wonder everyone has extremely heavy karmic obstacles. In the midst of contemplation, Zhengqing quickened his pace and quickly escaped from this dense forest. As he left, he discovered the traces of several police cars and even set up a blockade. This matter is indeed quite significant. Before returning home, Zhengqing found a lake to wash the dirt off his body, at least not to appear dusty. He then used his magical blood to steam dry his clothes. Late at night. Zhengqing just returned home. The door opens. "Why are you back so late today?" Miao Huilan frowned. "Yeah. Su Dajiang Road. Don't come back so late next time." Grandpa said, "You just came back from the hospital and need to take good care of yourself." Zhengqing nodded and said, "I understand." "Go back to the bedroom." Zhengqing lay in bed. My mind twitched. The wisps of white mist in front of me filled the air, gathering together to form a series of fonts, forming virtual windows similar to game panels. Name: Zhengqing. Age: 27 years old. Technique: the first level of the Immortal and Demon Manual. Realm: the first layer of the Demon Refining Realm, 5 magic veins. Spells: Corpse Refining Blood Technique, Bone Quenching Technique, Blood Soul Technique, Blood Flame Formation, Magic Flame Technique, Magic Eye Technique. Divine Power: none. Magic Weapon: lower level magical tool. Soul Slaying Blood Blade, 90 Forbidden Tools. Spirit Value: 1027 points. The number of spirit points has increased by 100 points. Zhengqing pondered, carefully recalling what had happened tonight and how he had obtained spiritual value, inferring the reason for his spiritual value acquisition. According to the information I have received, spiritual values come from various emotions of living beings, including attention, reverence, fear, admiration, faith, and so on. As long as other creatures experience certain emotional fluctuations due to themselves, the inexplicable energy in the dark can be transformed into corresponding spiritual values. Also, Zhengqing also confirmed one thing tonight: the amount of spiritual value that can be obtained varies depending on the severity of emotional fluctuations generated by living beings. For now, based on my intuitive judgment and inference, the level of emotional fluctuations can be divided into 4 levels. Ordinary, intense, heart-shaking, and soul-trembling. Among them, when living beings are on the brink of death, emotional fluctuations can reach levels 3 and 4. A normal ordinary person can earn 0.01 spiritual points after experiencing the first level of normal emotional fluctuations, 0.1 spiritual points when experiencing the second level of severe emotional fluctuations, 1 spiritual point when experiencing the third level of heart-shaking emotional fluctuations, and 10 spiritual points when experiencing the fourth level of soul tremor emotional fluctuations. Directly killing an ordinary normal person can earn 1.10 spiritual points. If you use torture and intimidation before killing, you can earn more than 10 spiritual points. Also, after killing more than a dozen criminals, Zhengqing's soul-slaying blood blade became more agile and absorbed a lot of fresh blood and karma, with a hint of demonic energy and even heavier demonic aura. So, what happened tonight actually benefited Zhengqing a lot. Time flies. The next day. In the morning. Zhengqing was flipping through his phone when suddenly a message popped up with a ding sound. He opened it and saw that it was a news article. This is. Zhengqing finished reading this news, which reported on what happened last night. After 3 years of concealment and investigation, the Xinzhou Public Security Bureau successfully closed down the smuggling and criminal gangs that had been entrenched in Xinzhou for many years, completely eradicating this cancer. It has nothing to do with me. Zhengqing shrugged, as if he hadn't done what happened last night. He closed the news webpage and opened a software that is currently very popular, even worldwide. The Chinese name of this software is Kuayin. Obviously. After figuring out how to obtain spiritual value, Zhengqing had a decision and method in his heart, which was to showcase some extraordinary methods through live streaming and classify them as passing martial arts, in order to attract the attention of netizens. At that time, As long as there are enough viewers and fans, even if only the lowest level of ordinary emotional fluctuations are generated, in a large base situation, a large amount of spiritual value can be harvested. Prior to this, Zhengqing also needs to purchase the corresponding live streaming equipment. He has already ordered it online and it will be delivered in about 2 to 3 days. The screen rotates. Xinzhou Public Security Bureau. Technical Department. In the morgue. Several forensic doctors are here. How is the situation? The captain of the Criminal Investigation Brigade, Wu Tong'an, walked in and glanced at Qin Shiguang, then asked in a deep voice. Captain Wu. Qin Shiguang's face was slightly pale. It was obvious that the lack of sunlight for a long time had caused such a situation. He wore black-framed glasses and slowly took off his white gloves, saying, "You came just in time. The autopsy reports for these corpses have already been released. There were a total of 17 people, each of whom died from being beheaded with extremely sharp tools in an instant. There's one more thing. Each corpse had about 1/3 less blood. How's it going? Captain Wu, have you found anything?" Qin Shiguang smiled and asked. "No." Wu Tong'an shook his head. "TSK. Qin Shiguang shrugged and said, "Captain Wu, if this action hadn't happened suddenly midway, the entire operation would have ended in failure. So it said. You might want to thank someone. Do your own thing well, I don't need you to meddle in my affairs." Wu Tong'an said in a deep voice. "To be honest, it's hard for me to imagine under what circumstances such a thing could be achieved. I even suspect that there might be some martial arts experts who punish evil and promote good, just like in martial arts TV dramas." Qin Shiguang said. "I also want to know who could have this ability." Wu Tong'an wrote. "P.S. If you don't like the live storyline, you can skip to chapter 15 and start reading without any impact." End of this chapter.